I'm Colin The Head and welcome to Colin's Culverts. Hello and welcome back to Colin's Culverts with me, Colin The Head. After last show we showed you a few culverts in Ackworth, right? And we had a look at what Ackworth's got to offer the culvert spotting fans. So today what we've decided to do on today's show is come to Hemsworth and have a look at an often forgotten beck that exists here in Hemsworth. When you look around you can't really see much of a beck, but there's actually more going off under his feet than you've actually realised, because this is the start of the Upper Don catchment area here at Hemsworth. Looking round, it's just a park, and you would never think that an actual beck actually starts here. What happens in this area is all hills all converge on this point. So we've got an hill in that direction, we've got an hill in that direction, and we've got an hill in that direction, right? And it all converges on this point, so it's like a collecting point basically. So all water cascades down that hill, and it cascades down that hill, and then it cascades down that hill, and then it all converges in this point. What we're going to do next in the show, we're going to trace it, this particular beck, through Hemsworth, and we're going to see what the actual course of the actual river is and what sort of infrastructure exists as we get further downstream. I'm just heading towards Iceland now, and I'm heading towards Beck Rise. As you can see around me, there's no evidence at all that there's a beck actually here, but I do assure you we're on the course of the actual riverbed here, or the start of it. See behind me, we've got like a line of trees that exist here. We've got a line of trees that cuts this half moon in half. So I'm surmising with the lay of the land and it being bowled out, it's the stream, the actual source of the stream is actually on this sort of path, on this sort of line. So when you're looking round, so basically the stream heads off in that direction. So we're just here at Beck Rise. Now Beck Rise is a pretty new estate here in Hemsworth, and it hasn't been built very long. But once upon a time it used to be a field. It used to be a field behind me up to the Scotch estate, and then it used to come down, and obviously there used to be a field and like a prairie sort of area, and then the beck used to be in the middle of this road alignment at the side of me. So the beck used to rise here. Obviously there's no remnants of it today because it's all underground, but the beck actually did rise, hence the street's name, Beck Rise. We're only literally 200 yards away from Beck Rise, right, and you wouldn't even think there were a beck even there. But obviously we've come 200 yards down the road to the other side of Home Bargains, and we're presented with an actual running beck. And this is where the culvert first surfaces, and this is the first remnants of an actual beck, that the beck we're actually following. So as you can see, it's heavily culverted and this area is heavily developed. And it actually comes out from underneath Home Bargains here in Hemsworth. What we're going to do next in the show is we're going to take a look towards Tesco and B&M. That's where it goes, just to have a look at another few culverts on its course. Let me get out of here. So we're just here outside at Main Road here in Hemsworth, and obviously the stream was under the road here, under Main Road, which used to be A628 here in Hemsworth. Well, it's obviously heavily culverted, as you can see. A lot of bricks, and it's a really fast flowing at this stage, but there ain't a lot of water in it at the moment, so it's quite low. So this is where the actual stream comes out from underneath the main road here at Hemsworth, and you can see it's a brick line culvert, and it doesn't actually look to amount to anything. It looks in really bad shape at the state of repairs, to be honest with you, and you'd think it'd be a little bit more substantial. It's actually falling to pieces, so you know, that's I'm not very impressed. We're not going to get down and have a look, obviously, because of where we are. You know, we're in a bit of a busy area here at the moment, and there's loads of people looking at us and wondering what we're doing in this day and age. So, but we've also got another tributary that comes in. That's surface water runoff. We've got surface water runoff in that concrete. I'd say that's a 2.5 foot culvert, that, and that's just bringing surface water into actual stream, which is adding to the actual flow of the actual particular watercourse. So we're just here back at Domino's Pizzas here in Hemsworth that used to be a bus station, which is now a Tesco, right? And this stream's always been here. No matter whatever else it's always been here, this here stream. And it's actually quite cleaner than what it used to be. You didn't used to be able to get to this at one time of day, because all this used to be brambles behind me and all waste ground when it used to be a bus station years ago. So as you can see, the beck itself is actually growing in size. we've actually got a substantial water channel and a water course now, and we've got trash screens as well on culverts, which are nice and clean, can I add? So when river does actually come into flood, right? Because obviously the channel's got to be able to withstand the river in flood. In built-up areas, the infrastructure that's put around the actual river has to actually withstand the river in flood to stop all Hemsworth flooding. So as you can see, we've got represented with high walls all the way around in a deep channel, which is good flood defences here for Hemsworth. You're actually looking at Hemsworth's flood defences. Without these flood defences, this Beck, when it's in flood, would just flood all Tesco and everything, and all Tesco would be underwater. So basically, this insignificant bit of concrete you're actually looking at is actually Hemsworth's flood defences. Right, so we're just down at Springies here, just away from Hemsworth town centre, about half a mile, right? And you can see Culverts stream as it exits Hemsworth behind me. And as you can see, the actual course of the water and the amount of water that's in the stream is starting to get bigger. So this is taking all Hemsworth water, basically, all its surface water from all catchment to Hemsworth, and it's fetching it down this channel underneath this culvert, and then obviously it fetches you out onto the other side. And as you can see, it's becoming quite a substantial watercourse now. Is this insignificant Beck that we've been featuring all day on today's show. So if you look down, we've got a sewerage pipe as well that comes across. So that's carrying raw sewage down to storage, which is just beyond the end of bypass here, just here. So we've got quite a lot going off here. So the infrastructure actually goes up a gear at this point. The actual stuff you actually come across on this particular stream actually steps up a notch from the small stuff we come across in Hemsworth. So let's take a look at these culverts that exist here down on Springies here in Hemsworth. Right, so in the mid-90s the Hemsworth bypass were built behind me, and this was a massive construction project in the area, and obviously it come through this area at Springies. And when they built the Hemsworth bypass, they had the Beck to go over. And like I say, it was a substantial construction project which come to the area. Now the Hemsworth bypass itself has got 3 holding ponds. Now these holding ponds, what they do, they hold the surface water that comes off the Hemsworth bypass, and they hold it at the side of the bypass. And basically what they do is they slow down the amount of surface water that comes into the Beck. So let's take a look at holding pond number 3 on Hemsworth bypass, and the actual first substantial culvert on the Beck. Right, so here we are at holding pond number 3 at the side of Hemsworth bypass here in Hemsworth. And obviously, like I've already stated in show, these are basically holding ponds and the store surface water which come off at Hemsworth bypass, which is above me. So basically they collect all water out of drainage system on Hemsworth bypass and channel it down embankment and into this holding pond. When this holding pond gets full, it's regulated full this series of culverts underneath me, and then it gets fed into Beck. Now what ultimately strikes me about this particular holding pond is the amount of rubbish that's actually in it. You know, it's shocking. So, you know, look at the state of it, for instance. But all that rubbish will end up in that culvert, and penultimately will end up stopping the drainage system working on the Hemsworth bypass eventually. So it will back up eventually, because this will get flooded, this culvert will stop working, and this pond will just flood, and then it'll just flood field. So this is culvert behind me. Obviously you can see it's corrugated iron. All culverts on Hemsworth bypass are built out of this material, which is high grade corrugated steel iron. And obviously they were built when they were built. These particular culverts they were put in before embankment, so they just filled in round it. But you can walk into these, and obviously water's not quite deep. So obviously these were put in mid-90s. This is when Hemsworth bypass was built in this particular area. And they were a strategic road. It's actually A628 that we're actually walking under now at the moment. And obviously this is what the Beck has become after it's left Hemsworth. But there's a lot of rubbish in here. There's a lot of rubbish and there's a lot of silt and stuff. But you can walk through them. You can walk through them. I mean, you can see we've got a big blockage here. Quite a lot of rubbish and debris which is actually accumulated inside culverts. So, you know, that's all going to stop flow of water, that. And it's going to make it back up. As you can see now, we're in deeper water. Just by going past that particular blockage, we're actually in a deeper water. So, if you can imagine when it floods, you know, these blockages will cause the river to back up, but they also increase the chance of it actually flooding. So we're immediately underneath the bypass, and we are at this culvert. This river won't be able to flow. So this is the reason why it was put in. It was put in to carry this Beck towards South Kirby, because this is where this Beck's heading now. It's going to old South Kirby colliery site, and that's exactly where it's heading. So it's got us way down to all the old disused railway disused railway in the area, which is known as the Ull and Barnsley. We've got a bypassing background behind me. You can see Work Rivers come through that bit, and it's obviously making its way across Springies, and it's on its way down. There used to be a sewerage here at one time of day, but it's not here now. And obviously we've got a little brick culvert here, a little concrete line culvert, which is a factory form thing. It's not very significant, but what we're really interested in is the actual Ull and Barnsley culvert, which exists just beyond on this old railway embankment. This used to be Ull and Barnsley Railway, this at one time of day. And obviously it closed in 1967, and it obviously went to stay afoot at Barnsley, and it was primarily for coal. But this is probably only a little bit of embankment that exists since they've built the Hemsworth bypass, since they've built the Spockeville Way, and since they've the roads have come to this area. So the actual embankment's still here, and there is actually a brick built Ull and Barnsley culvert that still exists underneath that embankment. Let's go take a look at it now. So I used to come down here as a kid on my bike, right? I think a lot of people in this area have. And this particular culvert's always been gated off, and it probably still is today, and we probably can't even get access to it. But all that said and done, we're still going to take a look at it, and we're still going to see. We'll have a look at the brickwork on it, because Ull and Barnsley were famous for its red engineering bricks and blue windows, and this is a really good example of an Ull and Barnsley culvert. But like I've said, it's gated off, so we're not going to be able to get inside it, and I don't think anybody I know has ever walked through it. So, well, let's just take a look, and let's just show you brickwork mainly. It's the brickwork that I've come to look at, because I think it's really fascinating how they built the actual brickwork and how much time and effort went into building culverts. The Culverts culvert, and like I say, it's always been gated off, this culvert. All the time I've known. I knew this culvert were here, and I knew it existed, but I've always visited it. But today, I didn't know this had happened. I didn't know somebody had actually took the actual iron gate off. Because obviously this is a trash screen, and obviously what it does, it protects the actual culvert from, it keeps all rubbish out at culvert basically, that's its job. But it's actually fell off. But what I wanted to venture is just look at the design of the actual culvert. This is a traditional Ull and Barnsley culvert, which has been built out of red engineering bricks and capped with blue brindles. And there's only one blue brindle left. So this is the traditional design of the Ull and Barnsley. And obviously and it always fascinates me how much the brickwork, it's renowned for its brickwork and how pristine the brickwork actually was in its day. I know today it's a bit weathered and stuff and it's falling to pieces, but the Ull and Barnsley was the last mainline railway to be built in England. As you can see, it's a culvert because we've got a nice brick lined floor underneath me. So what we're going to do on today's show on Colins Culvert is we're going to have a look inside this culvert that I've never been inside before. inside this culvert because I've never ever been inside it. I knew it were here, and I've always had it down for being having a trash screen on and we're not being able to get in, so I didn't even expect to get into here today. So here we are inside this old culvert here underneath Barnsley at Hemsworth. Like I said, it's traditionally designed in Barnsley fashion with red engineering bricks, and they built all the culverts like this online. They were all built like this. Wow, look at it, you know what I mean? Look at the state of this. I know it's all brickwork and stuff, but wow, look at it, how much time and effort they put into putting this particular culvert together. If we look into culvert, you can't see light at other end. There's no light at other end, so that suggests it kinks one way. But I do think it has been extended, this culvert. I believe it has, because the inter red brick exit for this particular culvert, but there is a concrete one, so that suggests it's been extended. So let's go have a look. We have got a lot of water ingress coming in the middle of, we're basically in the middle of the actual old original culvert here, and we've got a lot of water ingress. This wall's soaking, so this is obviously water that's coming from the old disused railway banking above my head, and it's obviously sleeping through. But majority of the walls, we looked at it dry. I know that side's pretty dry, but this side's soaking. You know, I'm surprised the bricks aren't spoiled, to be honest with you, with the amount of water that's coming in here. You know, this actual culvert's been here for 137-ish. You know, I opened in 1885 this Colin Barnsley, and it provided a vital link or an alternative route for coal out at Yorkshire coalfields to Olympus. And this is just part of it. If you paid attention at the beginning when we entered culvert, you've got this spiralling brick effect. This is obviously, it adds strength to arch basically, and obviously the die-vault bricks down and it gives strength to actual structure. So it ends here, so this is where, and as you can see the Beck's diving down here, we're starting to lose. It's a steady flow up there, but down here it dives into this concrete tube. So let's go have a look and see what's down this pipe. It's complete, it's caved in. Has it caved in or hasn't it caved in?
Debris.
It's debris, that.
Oh no, it's a, oh wow, it's a network. Wow. It turns, wow. It dives down there. Not going down there.
Not going down there. Where does it go next? Look at the big blockage here.
And that's taking it off road up there, look.
So we're in the midsection. Mad, isn't it? Right, we're at, what, don't slip in here. We're at midsection inside this here culvert here underneath the old Barnsley old disused railway banking. And like I said, when they built the new road, they had to extend this culvert. So this is the new part. This is the new part. And this is the midway point. Obviously there's an inspection hole, the manhole up there which comes down from the surface. You've got your ladders down, and then you're into this here, this section. So this is the modern bit really. This is the bit that were built in 1885. This is the new bit. So what we're going to do next in show, we're going to see what's over end of this here culvert. As you can see, if there's an exit there, we're going to see if that trash screen's open. If not, we'll have to walk back. It's open! I can't believe it's open! We're just there over side at banking. This is never open either, so both sides is open today. Can you get up from underneath this? It's a bit heavy. So, I can't believe that trash screen were open. Like I said, this usually bolted off at both sides. I've never walked through here ever. This culvert didn't used to be here. It used to be open topped here. This has been recently put in since they built the main Spock Evil Road, which is the Hemsworth to A1 link road basically, and this was put in during that construction, but like I say, it's always had a trash screen on it, so yeah, got quite a bit of a blockage in there as well that someone needs to go and have a look at, or else we could end up with a bit of a problem. So that's about it for Colins Culverts today. I hope to catch you in another culvert in another episode soon. Thanks for watching, bye!